Hello everyone, welcome back to Craft Aquatic. I'm Matt G. Today we'll be taking a short trip from our home in the Hudson Valley to Brooklyn, New York for the Fall 2019 Manhattan Reefs Frag Swap. When we get there, we'll browse the floor, check out the raffle, which includes one of the rarest farm-raised fish available today. We'll tour the famous Pratt Reef, hear some words from Randy himself, and show you how New Yorkers do a frag swap. Be sure to watch all the way to the end. This is a very coral-centric frag swap, so I'll be spending half the video showing you some of the coral, frags, and livestock each vendor had to offer. It's a beautiful day in New York. Here we are at the brand new Student Union at Pratt Institute. Let's go inside and check it out. The floor is just starting to buzz with the activity of the local hobbyists that make this event possible. It does get much busier as we get into the early afternoon. The new Student Center offers excellent flow for checking out what each vendor has to offer, and there are a lot of beautiful coral available here. And here's a classic Gorgonia I've not seen in a while. There's a large variety of livestock available here: fish, cleanup crew, clams, whatever you need. There were plenty of reasons to buy raffle tickets, a Vector M1, Apex Trident, gift certificates, Reef Palooza tickets. I won the Deep Sea Magnified Viewer. And the creme de la creme, the Grama de Janji, probably the most expensive fish on the East Coast, farm-raised and made available by Biota. Here he is, not looking too excited to be raffled off. These are some local hobbyists who brought their own coral to trade and sell today. They most likely coordinated on the Manhattan Reef site, so they knew what to bring. And the swap schedule: Speaker Sanjay Joshi, Robert Stark, a Trident demo. Here's Sanjay giving his talk on how to deal with the uncertainty of testing. And here's something I wanted to do for a very long time: taking a tour of the famous Pratt Reef. Here's Randy himself to tell you more.
The tale of two tanks. You can see a very old tank, a 15-year-old reef that has gone through the fits and starts of all 15-year-old reefs and is kind of in recovery from one of those fits. And you're going to see a very new reef that's only 7 months old, and that's going through the fits and starts of a very new reef. Okay? Feel free to mill around. There's several tanks all over the place, spread around. I'll answer questions as I can.
Hi, I'm Randy, better known as Pratt Reef. We're here at my office on the Pratt Institute campus in Brooklyn, New York, where I house all my aquariums on public display, and I get to share them with student, staff, and the surrounding community. This is the tank that's actually known as Pratt Reef. It's a 240-gallon mixed reef aquarium. It was set up about 15 years ago, I think 2006. The first, what I would call a proper swap with actual vendors, whatnot, was actually in this office right here, where we had maybe 80 people and maybe 5 or 6 vendors set up around. And then I was able to convince the people on campus to let us do it in the Student Union. So far, we're pleasantly surprised with how it's going. It feels very much like one of our old swaps, and I'm very happy about that. So this is my new aquarium, newest aquarium. This is our Waterbox 170, and I basically set it up as to be kind of an acro heaven, to house delicate tabling, primarily acropora. So things are settling in, coloring up, corals are putting down bases and starting to grow. I also got this group of Pseudanthius ventralis very recently, about 2 weeks old. Kind of rare, delicate fish. These have been very solid and very bold and are eating really, really well, so I'm cautiously optimistic that they will do well.
Here's another display tank in Randy's office with this giant, well-established Nephthya. Just shows you what's possible when you grow a frag out into a colony. And also these Aptasia, which most of us don't keep, but Randy propagates so that the students can take them back to their dorm rooms in these glass jars. Back at the Student Center, some of the event coordinators are bagging up and giving away Montipora capricornus frags. It's always encouraging to see corals being propagated and shared with others.
267 517. 267 517. Long time waiting for this, man. Congratulations.
And that was our grand prize winner. I'm going to take the rest of this video to show you some of the vendors. Coral, frags, colonies, livestock. There's lots of beautiful livestock here. I don't want to leave anyone out, so let's start. Here's Mod Corals with their setup. We have some really nice Scolamia. Plate corals look like fungia. Some mushrooms, large polyp stonies. Zoanthids to the left. And these beautiful Euphilia up here, looking nice and juicy. I love the chalice coral. There's good variety here. And this Trachophilia, it's so nice. Doing a close-up, we have these jawbreakers that the vendor is pointing at here. And those plate coral fungia. Also another jawbreaker, has a little green in that one. And at the Reef Shop booth, all these juicy little coral. And a bunch of tenuis here, upper left of the screen, a Rocky Mountain frags, acid trip millipora. I brought one of those home with me. And some larger frags and colonies. I apologize for the filter in the corner there, but I did want to show this vendor's corals, so we're going to keep at it. This is the most interesting coloration in a Space Invader Pectinia that I've ever seen. I'm not clear on the idea of this one, but it sure is beautiful. And at the reefaquariums.com booth, no shortage of frags here. These vendors put a great deal of work into setting up these flats, preparing the water, bringing the coral, not to mention bringing them home at the end of the swap, so that we can come, look around, maybe take a few pieces home with us. It's worth mentioning how much work they put into it. There really are some nice, big, chunky, grown-out frags here. Really healthy, reasonable price, not just little boogers in the middle of a frag plug. Much appreciated for that. This is the Aquarium Care Center booth. These guys actually have a store in New Jersey, and it looks like they have some nice sized coral flats there, so I'll be checking that out sometime soon. Pieces of the ocean. Look at this Euphilia forest. Pretty cool. Some stunning pieces of Elvipora and Gonopora, and some big, beautiful Acanthastria lortuensis or Micromusa frags. Those Bowerbanki in the lower right corner, I purchased one of those. I'm noticing less SPS at this swap than LPS coral, but here's a good variety to choose from. Another take of the Bowerbanki and Gonopora, two of my favorite LPS coral. And Reef Frags, they just make a great product for mounting coral frags and colonies on your aquarium's walls and wherever you can think of. At the corals.com booth, some beautiful LPS coral. I mean, look at the orange and red in that colony right there. Here we have a tenuis. Let me see if I can get in on it. This is a tenuis colony. I believe it's a Walt Disney. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of popular tenuis out there right now. I'm really enjoying seeing all of the show-sized Aussie Trachophilia at this show. The rainbow on the right is amazing. And another one of those red and orange puffy Cinerea next to this fluorescent green brain coral. Some of the tanks at the show had this particular type of LED lighting that my lens and camera couldn't break through, so I'm going to move on to Moss Reef here. And similar with the LED lighting, but I am cutting through a little bit better. We can see some of these nice big frags, zoanthids, favia, war coral, looks like some chalice here. And marine farmers didn't have a banner but had a card. And a nice little frag tank with lots of bright, healthy looking coral lit by this Kessel. And I've found that when I'm filming, I always get the best color out of the Kessels. I didn't see too many bounce rhodactis at this show, but if you look right down to the center of the shot, you'll see a very nice sun-kissed bounce. Here we have iconic aquariums. I believe these guys were selling a lot of frags today, so their selection's looking a little sparse at this point as I make my way around all the vendors. But yeah, that's a good thing for them. As I mentioned before, the Manhattan Reefs Frag Swap is known for being very coral-centric. There aren't many dry goods and products here, but you know, this show is really meant for the hobbyist that wants to come and weed through a bunch of beautiful coral and find just the right piece. Here are some of the very healthy fish at Salgado Aquatics. He had a couple koi tang available. And he was feeding them throughout the day. It's important to keep your marine fish happy when you're moving them around for shows like this. And at the cherrycorals.com booth, a very popular vendor, I did buy a bubblegum monster chalice from them. I also purchased one of the Cherry Corals Voodoo Magic Acropora frags. I'm looking forward to seeing what that grows into. It may have been the light or my lens, but it looks like this is a red with blue tip euphyllia. I'm sure there's some name for it. UniqueCorals.com and Manhattan Aquariums. Now these guys have a store in New York City, and it's a beautiful store. I'm actually going to do a video on a couple stores in New York, including these guys, in not too long. But you can see that they have they've been selling coral throughout the day, and they have some nice pieces available. Unique Corals is a popular vendor as well. They have a grow-out facility on the West Coast, and they do a really nice job of providing big, healthy, chunky coral to the reef hobbyists. Last but not least, we have Jason Fox, an absolute guru in the field of aquacultured coral. And here are some of Jason's frags. It's always really fun to come over, check out his frag tank, see what's new. Jason puts a ton of work into this and really does coin some of the nicest looking coral in the hobby. It's really cool to have him here, and he really does put a lot of work into this. As always, thank you for hanging out with Craft Aquatic and checking out the Fall 2019 Manhattan Reefs Frag Swap. If you're ever in New York City during one of these swaps, it's well worth coming to check it out. You might have to RSVP because they are getting a little bigger, but you're going to go home with some nice coral. Please do hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We're putting out a video a month, so if you want to hear about them as they're released, hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching Craft Aquatic, and remember, when it comes to reef keeping, nothing good happens fast.